have the answers. Can you tell me why? It is signs of the times. Let's turn our life around to build a beautiful land. We achieve progress, determination, working hand in hand. We achieve laying us a foundation, developing this land, not pulling down your brothers when they up the ladders, climbing for a cause. We achieve unity together, building a family. We achieve a good society, only unbending is no crime, no drug related. My friends, we achieve when we work what we're looking for. Consciousness come from deep within. We have seen wisdom depend on your mind, which let us down sometimes. We achieve when we work what we're looking for. Consciousness come from deep within. We have seen wisdom depend on your mind. Let us down sometimes, which we expect failures, but not to be losers at all times. We see immediate change coming to the world. Now we are two of us. It's a different era. We are good. We see changes that the Bible predict will pass. Children making children, and that's a fact. So much different diseases, no one have the answers. Can you tell me why? It is signs of the times. Let's turn our life around to build a beautiful land. We achieve progress, determination, working hand in hand. We achieve laying us a foundation, developing this land, not pulling down your brothers when they up the ladders, climbing for a cause. We achieve unity together, building a family. We achieve a good society, only unbending is no crime, no drug related. My friends, it's destructive. Let's think positive. Life to we, it should be most precious thing on earth. But what you sow is that you reap. It's no joke. Failures usually occurred from idleness of mind, but it's not yet over. There's not to be conquered if you try. You've got to trample barriers, obstacles in your life, enemies of progress. These are all obstacles to get rid of. We see times and times we always stumble in blocks, but life is trial, so don't you ever give up. We only surrender when this life is over, and that's only death. For the sake of your kids, hold on. Be strong with your decision, for their life will depend. Hold on.
A pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon? I hope everybody is fine. I hope we are ready, ladies and gentlemen, to officially start our very first day as it relates to the classroom. Class is now in session, ladies and gentlemen. So a pleasant good afternoon to you. And let us get ready as we start today's session.
When we get together, walking in harmony, not planning life forever at the end surrender, not to we should be. Some could see what could be a beautiful world. Just reduce crimes and drugs, robbery and bubble. Vision, that's only a dream, reality from within. What I'm only asking, let us be more loving and concerned. Why we living like dreamers when we are in control, depending on others, decide our future for us. You make me hold my head wondering where we are. If it is the next millennium we're heading for, computer we changing. Why not we do something about ourselves? Wake up, it is time, come on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. We are here this afternoon. How is everybody doing today? How is everybody thinking today? Because we are going to be intriguing the mind today. A pleasant good afternoon again, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our very first session of the classroom. I hope everybody is ready to converse. I hope everybody is ready to listen. I hope everybody is ready and willing to share their conversations with me. We, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, we have started our official classroom session. We are to this afternoon give thanks and praise first of all to the Almighty for giving us this opportunity. It is a lovely day in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. For some persons, it was warm. It is 10 minutes past 5, and I hope we are ready. Share the live. Let's get ready, ladies and gentlemen, to start this conversation. Let us get ready to ensure that today's session is one of our first and best sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I officially start today's session, I want to ensure that I play this so you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the classroom has officially started. So before we start our official session, let me ensure that everybody is ready for class. Don't worry, once you see I send that on them, don't. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start today's session. We are ready to converse. It will take me a little while. I'm still getting to the system and being able to control the system. So there are one or two things that you may hear, little hiccups and very little loops. But however, we are ready to start today's session. Alina Sen Bernard, I want to say a pleasant good afternoon to you. You are already on the live and you're ready for today. Jamal Victor, a pleasant good day to you. And how are you this afternoon? We are ready, ladies and gentlemen, to start our conversation for today. What our conversation will entail today is, it will be mind-triggering. It would get a lot of persons to think a little more. We would be able to give you insights on a lot of things that are happening here in Grenada. Things that you sometimes, the normal person may say, you know what, that is not important. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start, and I always said that since I started the classroom, I said one of the things that I want to do is to ensure that we have social conversations from time to time. From time to time, we would be able to, speak on something. And today, I want to start today's session by just conversing about, something that happened over the weekend that somewhat stirred the minds of a lot of Grenadians. And I believe as Grenadians, it is okay to share our opinions. And before we jump into the main conversations for today, I would take maybe just about three opinions on persons. You can type your opinions. I would be able to read your opinions. So, for today's session, to start today's session, I want to address a social issue, right? A lot of persons would have been on Facebook and they would have shared their opinions on the conversation. And the fact of the matter is, I have my very own take on it, right? But however, you know how people normally, get themselves involved in conversation, especially social issues. So just your opinion. And as I said, I would just take maybe just about three persons' opinions. Just your take, ladies and gentlemen, on the event that happened over the weekend. That is the Dexter Dapp show. And one of the individuals within the stands or in the crowd, or what you would say, she went on stage and she danced with Dexter Daps, right? And a lot of persons saw that in a lot of different light, right? A lot of persons took that in a lot of different light. I just want to know, what's your opinion? What's your take? What is your feeling on this, right? How do you think it is, or how does it look from the perspective of a woman? Would you as an individual do something like that? Male, don't be scared, to get involved in the conversation. Let us know, what is your take? What is your insight? What is your feel on what you saw happened over the weekend? Because it was all over social media. Many persons would have seen it. And I just want to know from the classroom before we start, how do you think, or what is your opinion on that conversation? You can also, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and send your voice notes if you want on 536-5843. I would play the voice note and just listen to your opinion, listen to how you feel about the situation. Don't be scared to get interactive. Don't be scared to share the live. Remember, it's our very first day and we're just getting into the nitty-gritty of things. We're just learning new things. And as I said, all around, it is a system that I have to get familiar with. So don't be alarmed if sometimes you hear one or two little hiccups or so on and so forth. But however, I want to get from, and I don't want to make it too boring. If it's going too long, then I would just jump into the next conversation, right? So what is your take? What is your opinion? How do you feel, on the conversation of what would have happened on Saturday, right? As I said, feel free to, if you wish to send your voice notes, I would listen to your voice notes, and it is your opinion. We would not, castigate your opinion in any way. It is your opinion. All right. So we have one person who would have responded. Somebody saying, I think the young lady represented us well and looked very well. What's the difference between that dancing in a mass band on Carnival Monday or Tuesday to the men talking about she's not marriage material? I think the Grenadian men need to look at themselves. All right. So somebody is making it in comparison to the fact that on Carnival Monday and Tuesday, we see individuals who enjoy themselves, who gyrate nearly in the same manner, who would sometimes have fun in the same levels. So that is one person's take on it. That is one person's opinion. And we, as I said, let us respect each other's opinion. And even when we get into the political conversations from time to time, I want persons to also do that, right? There are persons who would come on here and they would wish to share, in their opinion, how they feel about who they support. And so I want to ensure that now that we have started this program, we want to ensure that we put out there that we respect each other. We're all Grenadians. Everybody has a right to their opinion. What we would not allow is insults, threats, or obscenities. That is one of the things that I would be very stringent about, because we need to take into consideration there is a lot of persons that may want to learn something new, may want to converse about something new. And so it is of importance from time to time that you respect persons' opinions, especially as it relates to what they believe in. All right, so thank you very much, Ms. Regis, for your opinion. And let us get into what the conversation is about today, what we would be speaking about today, ladies and gentlemen. In recent days, we have heard the enlightening conversation from the National Democratic Congress supporters, especially, who speaks to the conversation of that $10 subsidiary. And I want persons, first and foremost, to understand, and listen to me, I want persons to understand the stance taken. No. The fact of the matter is, and the information that I'll be giving you, it shows two things. One of which geared to ensure that persons understand that this $10 subsidiary goes to a very minimal amount of our civilians. Understand this. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, and if you check it yourself, for persons who normally monitor their electrical bills, 100 kilowatts in Grenada to the average household is a joke. Nearly every Grenadian, and I don't want to suggest nearly every Grenadian and just leave it at that. I want to share this with you all, right? And I want you to listen and understand what I'm saying. Let's go. According to the information found on Grenlec websites, right, Grenadians on an average consume 141 kilowatts of electricity per month, with 48,000 households consuming electricity in Grenada. From the 48,000 households that consumes electricity in Grenada, 46,000 consumes less than 500 kilowatts of electricity. This was confirmed by a Facebook posting by the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. You listening to me, ladies and gentlemen? As such, any break on the cost of electricity given to below 500 kilowatts per month would cover 96% of the households in Grenada. Let's leave that right there. Now, if you're using, and what this post is saying, most Grenadians use just over 100 kilowatts, or let's say 141 to 500. The percentage of persons that use that amount is 96%. Right? Armed with this information and seeing the rise in fuel cost, the new National Party administration has taken some on the electricity issue, right? On page 29, and listen to me, and as I said, I don't like to just talk, so you believe I just having a conversation for having a conversation. On page 29 of the budget statement for the year 2022, as presented by the Minister of Finance then, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, the new National Party in government instituted the following measures to curb the rising cost of electricity and bring some relief to our people. And listen to some of this. They removed the VAT on the first 500 kilowatts of electricity consumed by household. Taking into consideration, ladies and gentlemen, Grenadians, based on the electricity that is used, is 141 to 500 kilowatts. The past administration would have said to the Grenadian people, hey, if you use that amount, we would remove VAT on the first 500 kilowatts that is being consumed, right? To go on, remove the environmental levy on the first 500 kilowatts of electricity used. They reduced non-fuel charge by 25%. What did the current Minister of Finance or Prime Minister, Mr. Dickon Mitchell, has done? Listen to them. As soon as he came in office, he removed the 25% discount on the non-fuel charge. On page 61 of the budget speech for the year 2023, he reinstated the VAT at a rate of 7.5%, consumers effective on February 1st, 2023. He reinstated environmental levy of $10 on those same consumers effect the 1st of February. So the $10 that everybody is beating the chest about, oh, $10 is so nice. It is $10, basically, ladies and gentlemen, that has been reinstated in the environmental levy. So they're giving you $10 to take it back. Outside of the fuel costs, the government, by the policy action, have further increased the cost of electricity in Grenada on the Grenadian people. So, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, despite all the nice things that we're hearing, despite the nice conversations that this administration is deeming to be one of the greatest achievements to give Grenadians $10, lo and behold, it is just a mere fake. It is just a mere saying to the Grenadian people, hey, we're giving you that, and the other administration has never done this. This is not true, ladies and gentlemen. This is not true. The fact of the matter is, and what one must pay particular attention to, is the amount of persons that consume or who would be able to qualify for that amount of that $10. If anybody pays particular attention, as I said, to their current bill and so on, you would see, ladies and gentlemen, that from time to time, you're in 200 and 300 kilowatts. So to come and say that they're giving that percentage to the 100 kilowatts is a joke. And this administration continues to do things like that. They continue to bring this conversation to the Grenadian people as if we don't know what is happening. And so we want to implode to our Grenadian people. When persons come with this conversation of the electricity and this $10, $10 is not even getting you a chicken and chips at sports. And I mentioned that in my last broadcasting. $10 is a joke, ladies and gentlemen. You can say to grown men and women with kids to help subsidize or to help the effect of electrical bills, you're giving them $10. It is laughable, ladies and gentlemen. And we continue to ask of this administration to stop treating our Grenadian people as if we don't know. Stop treating our Grenadian people as if we are dull. I don't want to use the word that is usually used in our local terminology. If you're going to do things that could help the economy, help our Grenadian people, make it be one that you don't do anything a trickery way. Because that is what we're seeing it as. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no bitches. There is absolutely no joy. There is absolutely no, that's really good as it relates to this $10 and this $10 subsidiary. Because at the end of the day, what percentage of Grenadians, ladies, of Grenadians that are benefiting from this? And that is the question that one must ask. And so, as I said, I don't want to just give information and then at the end of the day, somebody comes to you and where did you get your information? So for information's sake, ladies and gentlemen, you can go on to grenlec.com/rates, prices, and comparison. I will say that again. You can go on to grenlec.com/rates, pricing, and comparison. All right. So if you want further information on what I just gave you as it relates to what they are saying that we Grenadians consume on a daily basis in terms of our kilowatts and the consumption, we would see that a lot of our Grenadians would not be qualified for this $10 subsidiary. All right, ladies and gentlemen, So we just want to get that out there. We want to ensure that those information come across and come across properly. We want to ensure that when we give this information, the only thing they can say, oh, is we could have done that or something else could have been done. But when we bring the facts to them, we want to ensure that those facts are given, and it's given to the best of our knowledge, and to be given in a way that we are giving information with facts and proof. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, we see that this administration continues on that level. And it brings us now to the persons who love to play their lotto, to the persons who like to, take a little chance in the play way and other, bingo and so on, waggity bingo, and other little bingos, right? Now, we have heard as it relates to a 15% on winnings when it comes to lottery and legal gambling. Now, one of the things that you will hear mentioned if you're having conversation with any one of them, one of the things that you would hear mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, is that this was part of the law long. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the past administration, which is the New National Party, did have that in the books, as we normally say in local terminology. It is in the books, right? It was never implemented for a lot of reasons. One of it being, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, when we look at the persons who usually gambles in our state, when we look at the persons who usually go to the waggity bingo and so on, we don't see Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so, persons who are considered to be of higher excellence, for want of a better word. We don't see those persons whenever we see things like bingos and persons are having little bingos and persons who gamble. The populace or the average persons who normally gets themselves involved in those little gambling are the layman man, the normal man who would normally say to himself, let me take a chance. Now, there are many things that could have happened during that time. You have your little things to finance for, and you decide to yourself, let me try a little gambling. Let me try a little waggity bingo. And so you earn, let's say, a little $2,000, $3,000. Now, it was there that once you win that amount, 15% is taken from your winnings. The past administration had refused to implement that because after an assessment, it was assessed that, hey, is the average man who usually goes on to play the little bingo? Is the person who would just take a little chance and play a little bingo? So we wouldn't want to have to pressure a man if he win $2,000, he has to pay 15%. Because sometimes it really goes a long way for some of those persons. However, ladies and gentlemen, this administration has implemented it. This administration has now made it mandatory that once you have won a particular amount of money, I think anything over $10,000 or so, I seek to be corrected for anybody who has the information. Once you get that amount of winnings, 15% would have to now come from your winnings. Now, everyone knows that the National Lottery Authority and the government of Grenada merely works hand in hand. All right? We all know, ladies and gentlemen, that they are basically like a child. The Grenada Lottery Authority is like a child to the Grenada government. And so they assist in so many other ways, in doing so many with and for government. And I believe the past administration did something great, did something well when they did not implement that 15%. But however, the ones who claim to love so many, the ones who claim to have Grenada at heart as their symbol reflects, they are the ones, ladies and gentlemen, that at the end of the day is putting on our backs more taxation and more opportunities to take from us, and they're not giving absolutely nothing. This administration is giving absolutely nothing. And just to read a comment from one of the viewers, somebody saying 100 is like $10. So what will be the value of this $10? Zero. Zero. Because at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, this administration continues to look upon us as a Grenadian people as if we don't know what is happening, as if we don't understand what is happening. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we always want to remind them that we are here. The educated bunch of the New National Party continues to remain here. And as long as we're here, we would continue to love our little state and defend our little state. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, our conversation continues. Please don't go anywhere. And we will take just a very, 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 very short break. Right? As I said, it is not customary that, we do that when we did our little Facebook Live and so on. But now, at this stage, sometimes, make a little, as I say, a little upgrade. All right? So we just break for a while as we just play this right here.
New York's #1 event comes to Grenada as New Faith's promotion in collaboration with Hush 5.0 presents Revo Dance Invasion 473. Going down at Tip Bar and Lounge in Tempe, St. George. Upstairs, Ned's Rental on Saturday, March 11th. Music by The Bomb Squad, Fishman Jr., Graphic Sound, DJ Nazim, and DJ Kyle. And featuring live Brooklyn's #1 female DJ, Queen D Fire. Powered by Root Sound System and hosted by Blackstorm. And look out for a special guest performance by Dash. Get your $40 tickets now. More at the door. Get your tickets from President's Bar in Montoot, Juke Shop in Saigon, White Beach, Woodland, Shi's Bar, Victoria, Police Canteen, Chucky's Bar, Pamela's Bar in Grenville. Bottle table and hookah packages available. Dress code Army Green, a piece of green, khaki or anything. Price for the best dress, male or female. For more info, contact 414-8660 or 415-4983. This is a party with a difference. Revo Dance 473. New York.
So right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And as I said, this was just one of our very first little break. And we want to ensure that the few persons that are giving one or two little sponsors, one or two persons that are, making this possible, we want to just ensure that we pay respect to them, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Our next conversation calls for a lot of thinking. Our next conversation, ladies and gentlemen, I want persons to pay particular attention to this part of the class. All right. I really want persons to pay attention to this part of the class because it really would cause persons to think. It would cause persons to ask questions that we want answers for. It is not questions that we just want to mention, but we want to give you, ladies and gentlemen, an insight as it relates to something very important in Grenada. All right? And so, let me just read this. Warrant to enter and such. Right? Section 33(1). If a magistrate is satisfied by information on oath supplied by an authorized officer that there are reasonable grounds for suspecting that an offense under the Act has been or is being committed, and that evidence of the commission of the offense is to be found on any premises specified by the authorized officer, the magistrate may issue a warrant authorizing the authorized officer to enter the premises, to search the premises, to inspect, examine, operate, and test any equipment found on the premises and which is used or intended to be used for the processing of personal data, to inspect and seize any documents or other material found on the premises and which may constitute evidence of the commission of the offense, to require any person on the premises to provide explanation of any document or other material found on the premises, and to require any person on the premises to provide information as many reasonably to be required to determine whether the data user has committed an offense. Right? This is a draft, ladies and gentlemen, of the Grenada Data Protection Bill 2021. Now, this bill has not yet been passed, and I want to say this, but it is a bill with the intention to be brought forward in the House of Parliament. Now, questions that one must ask themselves. Now, in section 1, you heard it said, if the magistrate is satisfied by information and oath supplied by an authorized officer. The question here, ladies and gentlemen, who then would be an authorized officer? The most important question there, and what is normally specified in law, you would have to be specific as to whom can be an authorized officer. No. How can a proposed law give a citizen, because we have to put it at that, an authorized officer could be anybody. Because if this law wanted to give any form of specific directives to the Royal Grenada Police Force, I think it should have read, if the magistrate is satisfied with information supplied by an officer or from the Royal Grenada Police Force. It didn't say that. It said an authorized officer. No. The law is basically giving a civilian, an ordinary person, the okay to search your premises. This bill clearly states, right, that these officers would be appointed by a minister. Now, take into consideration that this bill is saying to us that those officers could be appointed by ministers. The bill seeks to give authority to authorized officers, right, to arbitrarily search and question not just the data subject, but any person on the premises. The consultation is clear who, why, and when a person should be subjected to such of his or her premises, property or entity by any other premises from his or her. The consultation also protects freedom of expression, our freedom to hold opinions without interference, freedom to receive ideas and information without interference, freedom to communicate ideas and information without interference, whether the communication is to public or to personally or class of persons, and freedom from interference with his or her correspondent. Now let me say, this is a reading that I took from one of the persons on Facebook, and that is one of the persons who I normally follow on Facebook. And so I had to give reading to this. Now, understand, ladies and gentlemen, what this is saying to you here. Because I remember sometime during COVID-19, when we had the issue of COVID-19 and the conversation of persons, not just persons, police officers, given the right to come onto your premises and conduct any form of such, for whatever person or whoever person you might be hiding who have COVID. I don't know if any one of you all remember this conversation. But this is one of the conversations that was being held as it relates to that. And persons were in an uproar like, how come the police could be given authority to come and search my place and so on and so forth? No, ladies and gentlemen. We are reading a bill that the intention is to bring it forward. The amount of your constitutional rights that are being played on here, ladies and gentlemen, it is not even funny. It is not even funny. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, your constitutional rights as an individual to your premises and property, ladies and gentlemen, is of paramount importance. Your ability to speak freely, as long as you're not being insultive, threatening, or obscene, neither you're defamating anyone's character, it is okay to express yourself. However, if you read lower down in subsection C, it says to inspect, examine, operate, and test any equipment found on the premises and which is used or intend to be used for processing of personal data. Now, I read section C for this purpose. I can be deemed, Minister of Government listen to me and he says, this royalty James guy is creating some issues and some national uproars on things that, we believe that he shouldn't have information about. As they always say, they're secret. And then the incidents that would have happened recently as it relates to signing of documentations and so on. And so some minister of government says to the magistrate, I believe this guy has too much information. This guy is getting too much of information. And so one day I'm sitting here and I'm going through, the conversations that we are having. And all of a sudden, my door opens. And they said to me, Mr. James, we're here to seize your your items. We're here to take your items away because we believe that you have information that you shouldn't have. And then I am asking, who authorized that? Who gives the authority to do such? When I am here, freedom of speech, as I'm saying, I'm not defamating one's character. I am not spreading fake news. I am not here being obscene with anybody. I am not here passing threats onto anybody. Because as of now, the criminal code speaks as it relates to verbal offenses and to its annoyance to individuals. Your constitutional right also gives you a right to freedom of speech. If we go on to if we go to F of the section, it says, require any person on the premises to provide other information as may reasonably be required to determine whether or not the data usage to commit an offense. So I am here, and anybody else that is here is liable to detention or maybe arrest. I don't know how the bill may proceed. But it is laughable, people. It gives you that sense as if this administration continues to try to shut the mouths of Grenadians. We heard of it in the different ministries, and they're asking persons not to converse with this one, and they shouldn't have conversations, and they're signing documentations, and now we hear of this bill. We hear of this bill. For years, Dr. Mitchell and other members of his administration had to deal with slander and name calling. I remember my little voice being heard sometime making statuses, and I'm wondering, how is this individual, one of their individuals, is there addressing ministers of government, the prime minister, in names that you had to wonder. Something I had to ask myself, is Dr. Mitchell sleeping? You've heard names like Morocco and excuse me, but Claudius. And those things we heard in addressing the then Prime Minister of the state. And so a bill like that was never at the time important. A bill like that, it was not necessary because the administration continued to do what they were doing. Because they believe it is the right of an individual. And many times you would have heard for persons who went on different campaign trail, from time to time you would hear Dr. Mitchell say, I don't get mad with people for who they support. You get upset with people for who they support. It is your right. It is your rights as an individual to say, hey, I'm supporting green, I'm supporting yellow, I'm supporting red. Their information, ladies and gentlemen, that this administration, I believe, there is some secret society. That's how to put it. Because this bill, to me, is simply geared to hush the mouth of our Grenadian people. Because the question here lies, ladies and gentlemen, who is the authorized officer? Who? Now, who is it that this minister of government would be giving the okay to say, hey, go and confiscate this Sheldon Scott's information. Go confiscate Royalty James's information. At the end of the day, the drafting alone of this bill is a call for concern, ladies and gentlemen. And it could be on any one of us as Grenadians. It could be on any one of us as Grenadians. This bill is a cause of concern. This bill is geared to say to me, ladies and gentlemen, somebody afraid something. Somebody afraid something come out somewhere. Because you can't continue to say to me so many things that are happening, so many things that continues to happen. And at the end of the day, this administration continues to play down. There are so many times you're asking yourself the question, did just the Prime Minister won for the National Democratic Congress? Because whatever press briefing as of late, whatever interview, we continue to see the face of the Prime Minister. Everybody else, hush. Everybody else is part of that big secret society. Everybody continues to say nothing. And then the few persons like myself and others who say to themselves, you know what? Let me address some national issues. We hear bills like that. It is laughable, people. It will cause some form of uproar. Because you can't say to me, for all the years I've known the law, I have heard many persons be given authority. The Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security, not even the Governor General to a certain extent, as I believe, and I am subjected to correction, as it relates to electoral position, the Governor General has certain, say in that aspect, and other little aspects. But this one is a cause for concern, ladies and gentlemen. I am one person who is very intrigued about the legal aspect in my state. I have legal training, and so I need more meat. I need more explanation. I need more as it relates to what this bill is saying to us as Grenadians. And it's the intention, I believe, I think is on the 14th or so, the bill would be presented I am again subjected to correction as it relates to that, but I want to believe it's the 14th of this month. And it is just what I read from you, ladies and gentlemen, it's just the drafting. And what I would try to do for the next live is to at least be able to provide you as to where you can get that bill, right? And so we would converse more on it. And at this stage, I would really want to get the rest of the class involved, right? And so I'm seeing a lot of persons who would have commented, and so I want to read some of the things that some persons are saying. I really, my intention is not to call certain persons names, because at this stage, you don't know who knows you, and I don't want to jeopardize much person's position, right? If you saw it as to the post, then fine. But to say call somebody's name and then they're just tuning in for information, and then tomorrow here they get a letter, because that is how it's going. That is how it is going, people. It may sound funny, but this is the way it's going. Somebody simply says, hey, you know what? I'm in agreement with X or Y, and you're a government worker. You're being targeted. That is how it's going. So somebody's saying they have a secret agenda to destroy Grenada. Just as they did with the revolution, I believe there is some secret string pullers responsible for these people bringing what these people is bringing to sweet Grenada. All right. Somebody say they want us shut our mouth with papers to keep quiet. Well, I'm not one of the persons they're going to keep quiet. Somebody here is saying again, what they're trying to do, God forbid if they get through with passing this, it will come back and beat them. What goes around comes around. All right. Let me go higher so I can get persons. As I said, I want to get persons involved in the class. So I am going to read again. They're talking about, I tried not to. I want to read this, but I want to say I tried not to read anything that requires somebody's name. I am hoping that it is not to defamate anyone's character. So the person is saying they think about KCM was a dictator, right? Kem and others was allowed to do and say as much things. Keith Mitchell, or KCM, that's the person he's saying, never attempted to shut Kem up. All right? Kem defamate a lot of people's character, and they love them. Why now they're trying to shut up people? All right? Somebody is saying even the recent gal with her debauching and so issue, I can't use that word, calling out KCM in his name. All right? But people understand the bill well. Now, I don't think it speaks to persons simply being on the streets. It don't really speak to, the people, who might just be in their own little space or so on, and, want to say something about or share their opinion on something. Because it goes on, people, right? Again, that part, section, and think about this, people. Think about that part. Section A of this gives the entering of your premises. B gives the authority to search. You understand me? Now, all those things, for those of us who are aware as it relates to the law and the regulations of the law, the regulation gives certain limits to the police. The police has all this authority already. So if there is someone doing something illegal, right, and it is one that is being broadcast, I believe there are sections of law that can be looked into by the Royal Grenada Police Force, and they can find some section to do what they have to do. Why is it that we involving ministers of government and these so-called authorized officers? Where are all this coming from all of a sudden? Is it that we forget of the Morocco? We forget the old tortoise, and I'm just regurgitating names as they come to mind. The names that was basically broadcasted about ministers and ministers of government. So at the end of the day, I am wondering, what is the main intention? What is the main intention, ladies and gentlemen, of this bill? What it seeks to do to us as a Grenadian people, what it seeks to do in terms of information, is one that persons should pay particular attention to. So if it means that you want clarifications, as I said, for the next class, I would ensure, and I'm saying class, I stop saying for the next live, for the next class, you understand me? I am going to try to get the drafting of that bill, and if before, then I would make it public on my page. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this was our next topic. So we are going to close this evening on a very important topic. And this one, I'm getting the class involved. Because I am saying, I am not the person that would boast that, hey, yo, you are always all over the place, that you know everything. People, I don't know everything. However, I am one person that if I don't know, I would seek to find out. Now, our past administration did implement so many youth involvement program. And this week, you would find me speaking about youth because I just think we just forget our young people. I believe like we forget our young people. We somewhat believe to ourselves that they are no more there. But let me just remind the National Democratic Congress of why you got there. Because some of you all don't, seems like you all know what got you all there in the first place. And I would continue to say, the portrayal of youthful involvement that the National Democratic Congress did display to this country grabbed a lot of young people to support your party. And anybody who wants to prove me wrong can try. But the mere fact, and for years, we know that the new National Party usually are the ones who get a very high majority of our youthful votes. However, the last election saw that the National Democratic Congress would have displayed that level of, hey, we are for the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. And so a lot of young people gravitated to that. A lot of young men and women throughout the state saw that, hey, this is a man that I can relate to. Young, vibrant. And so you display to the Grenadian people or young people this youthfulness. And young people went out there and they supported your party. You boast that you are going to defend them to the core. You boasted that there is a lawyer in the East whose intention is to give anybody West who tries to plague or play on our young people. And they bought that. However, it is saddening, or it saddens me, to hear the volume of young people as it relates to their conversation on politics. Some is saying, hey, I would never vote again. Because some would have voted for the new National Party, convinced some way or the other, they switch, vote for the NDC. And because of the demoralization that you have inculcated into them, and I'm saying you, because you were the last. You convinced them. You did a very good job. And now, some of them are asking for even the parliamentary rep. Some of them are asking, what is going on? One told me Saturday, hey, listen to me, I know you're resigning, you know. He said, but tell none of them come back in front of me though. Tell none of them come back in front of me though. And we stood and we spoke. And she's explained to me, hey, this is what was happening in my constituency. And so, and again, she involved the people within the New National Party who basically brought her to the decision that she making supporting the NDC. She said, but however, look, this said come, and they're doing this, and even worse. She said the conversation that she used to have with persons before, they are not hearing it again. It's like they don't want to see these young people and them again at all. You basically said to our young people, our young Grenadian people, you were going to ensure that you give them that opportunity to display their youthfulness. And now, nothing. The re-imaging of the Imani program, I believe nobody cares anymore. The conversation of getting involved in youthful development and knowing how young people think is of no more. There was in excess of more than 3 to 4 programs that the past administration has implemented, or did implement, sorry. And all of a sudden, young people have been placed on the back burners. This is a clarion call. This is a call to this administration to please, I'll give them like a pull out. Give them like a help. Seek to meet with them so you could understand them more. The youths of our country are of paramount importance. For years, I remember persons attempting to bridge that generation gap. And I believe the past administration did a great job in doing that. Because when you went into the ministry, sometimes you saw young people, middle-aged, elders. You need that level of integration. You need that level of amalgamation. And we have not seen that or an intent from your administration to do anything like that. So as I said, and this is my last day in the week for the program, because I planned this week to address youthful issues. You need to take them out on the back burner. Young minds are crazy minds. Young people are not that patient. Their impatience will show, either in negative actions, whether in drug-related actions, whatever it might be. Young people are going to sooner or later call on you. Every time you speak to them, is they just reach. Give them time. As somebody related to me recently, they said I went to an office and they said, the person go to come back. And they're standing there. And sometimes they had to go inside and ask the person, listen, how long you want? How long I have to wait? How long the person would... This is us now. This is us. We waited for 8 months. How long again all you want us to wait for? How long again is it that you all need to say to our Grenadian people, listen to me. Look at the time now. Let's pay attention to what is important. with the pregnant treasury you met, I would be intrigued to find out in that 8 months how much you put back. Because like little children, you just open the pipe and you leave it running. So it behooves me. It behooves me that after such a campaign on youthfulness and how much you would be for the youths, to see that there has not been any form of implementation for youth and youth development within the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite-Martinique. Now, again, we ask of this administration to please, pay attention to them. They are the future of tomorrow. Just like you were, they are. All right? So, let me just take a few comments again. Let me just take a few comments. All right. Somebody saying true. They trick the youths and to vote no. Sorry, let me take that again. They trick the youths to vote. Now they forget about them. Right? Somebody saying he lied for the young people to get their votes. Another person is saying, yes, teacher, this reminder is so fitting. A lot of the NDC mouthpiece supporters fail to accept that it is the youths that voted for the NDC to win based on what they were promised. And that is factual. Anybody who followed the election, they would have realized that the young people, because I have been in the wrong election from since 2008, and all that have been said, oh, NMP have said that young people, little children are going to be an NMP. And these young persons came, these young people and little children came, they beat you up in 2013, they come back and beat you again in the next general election, and then you realize to yourself, but no, these people continue to beat up on youthfulness. But we were beating you on youthfulness with positive changes for young people, not lying to them. Somebody is saying, they won, they failed to support their promises with the action, and they want young people to accept this as a transformation. Send them home, and when they said no one will be sent home. Well, the send home thing is a style now. Good for them. They like lies. I am not going to be. All right? He tricked the young people. Now he don't care about them. That is what they wanted. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, so you see, it's not me, it's not just my view. We're seeing, persons are saying what you did to our young people. And we're saying we are not fond of it. We don't like it. Stop it. All right? There is absolutely no reason to not trick our people. There is absolutely no reason to, have treated them in the manner in which you did. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, this is one of the conversations that will next week, we would bring a little more light into it, right? And that light that I'm speaking about, more than likely, I would have one of our young, vibrant Grenadians to join me on the program, and we will converse more on this. He was supposed to be here with me this week, but however, through to other involvements and so on, he could not have. But he's a young, vibrant Grenadian, and I would say very little of that. But next week, God's willing, hopefully he can be here. And once he's here, ladies and gentlemen, we would converse more on the conversation. We are going to end this evening on a hot one. One that I want to ensure that persons understand. Now, we have heard the conversation of what is taking place, or the intention of what is going to be taking place in Carriacou, where persons are asked to return letters, or there would be a different scrutiny in terms of the house distributions. Now, understand the letter was given so that persons can go get an electricity bill. Persons can go, not electricity bill, sorry, to get their electricity installed, water, and so on. So it gives you that confidence that, hey, I'm now a homeowner. Now, the conversation of recent is one that is different. And I want you to listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, to the words that was used in terms of what was said would happen. All right? So let me just get the clip so I can play you the clip, because it is one that I said I don't want to always just say. I want you to hear too. So let me just get the clip, and I would play the clip so that you would hear a little better. All right? So just hold for me while I play you the clip.
Minister, can you give us an update as to how the process is unfolding as it relates to the Chinese low-income housing project in terms of distribution?
The committee has gotten to its final stage of work. That's the committee that has been set up by Cabinet for the distribution of the housing units. They've gotten to the final stage. As a matter of fact, they are now in Carriacou. They're now looking at the distribution of the housing units in Carriacou. And they have looked at what has happened in Carriacou. And unfortunately, we have to review the entire process, because the letters that were issued to potential homeowners or unit owners in Carriacou has not followed due process. By that I mean that there was a cabinet select committee that was used for the distribution of those units. That committee was not involved in the process. That's for the early distribution prior to the general elections held in June last year. As a result of that, the committee has decided that they would consider all applicants, those to whom letters were already distributed and those who did not get any letters. All of those in Carriacou who have applied will be duly considered. The entire process will be walked through by the selection committee to ensure that a fair and transparent process is upheld. So we recognize that the initial process that was done for the distribution of those housing units up to the process of the letter distribution, that process was flawed. And so they must now reset the process to ensure that people are treated equitably and that there is no political interference.
Ladies and gentlemen, their words, not mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you heard and understand what was just said. Now, I'm given documentations from June last year, or prior to the general elections last year. And so I successfully got my installations of my water system and my electricity. And now, let's take it to mean I'm one person. After that scrutiny has been conducted, I am not selected. After that scrutiny was done, ladies and gentlemen, my name is taken out. The costing of my expenditures for my installations, and I believe some of those installations are in excess of $200-300. Some more. I'm not too au fait with the information. So my installations, my water and my lights is there. After 6-7 months, Grand Lake Rich, they couldn't give me light. Now I start giving me water. Only to find out now that I have to return that letter. And on the return of that letter, there is not a certainty that I would be the owner of that house or that home or that unit. Now tell me people. No. Let's be realistic. Let us be realistic. Let us be realistic. Let us be human about this. Put aside politics. Put aside politics for a while and think about it, you as an individual. Somebody said to you, hey, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get that done. And you come up with your money, you get it done. And then that person passed away. That person is no more. And then somebody comes out from nowhere and they says to you, you're not going to have to take back that from you. This opportunity is no more given to you. Because all the nice words of it will be scrutinized and so on, this is not a surety that I'm going to be given back the unit. This is not a surety that the unit is going to be returned to me. So whatever transparency and whatever nice way you want to put it, it is not an assurance that I would be given the unit in all my expenditures. It is not a surety that the unit is going to be mine. Now think about an individual who has tried to make ends meet to have done that. So for the past 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, counting, they earn $700, and just to put a little water, a little light, because they are not confident. Think about it. You're confident that, hey, boy, watch, all these years I'm finally getting my place. And then when you believe you're 1 foot inside, well, I can't say 1 foot because you are water and light there on your name. That's your place. That is your place. Only to find out now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not so. Now, how do you deal with that as an individual? Isn't there another approach to this? I am not against scrutiny and transparency. But isn't there another way to this? Isn't there another means that can be used? Isn't there something else that can happen than to now basically take food away from an individual? Come on. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This really should not be like that. This really should not be like that. And if anybody wants to put it on the basis of politics, fine. But to me, this is inhumane. This is inhumane. There are persons, ladies and gentlemen, who have struggled for years. The past administration, so too. They might have kept them waiting 2-3 years. Persons who waited in line while even the construction of those units was going down. They sent in their application. 2, 3, 4 years, they waited. And then finally, they're given the letter to say, go ahead, you could start the process. And then within 8-9 months, you're being told, no, hey, cut it out. It ends here. My thing is that government is continuum. Government is continuum, and if you believe the past administration did something that was uncalled for, in my humble opinion, ladies and gentlemen, you do it differently. And this administration, and I continue to ask their supporters this question, everything you say NNP did and Kid Mitchell did. Now tell me how many times you have seen the fire truck gone to out a fire, and before even out in the fire, you hear they asking, who set the fire? No. You deal with the problem, find the solution. Now, if you want to make it right, you say to the Grenadian people, no, we are going to leave those persons with the houses. However, in the upcoming distribution, there would be a different channel used, and there would be more transparency. There would be a different approach. So you give people the assurance that it's not going to be the way it was. But no, you're there wrong asking, how did you know that it wasn't transparent? The persons within the cabinet didn't even know the houses was distributed. So who gave them? Who gave them? So the persons within the areas was unaware that those persons received the letter. How was it sent out? Continue to look for problems, blame the past administration instead of finding solutions and making it better for our Grenadian people. This, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is the full intention of this administration. NNP, Keith Mitchell, Clarice, Emlyn Pay, Cox, Nimrod, Peter David. You would continue to hear those names as if they are the government of the day. Because as long as they continue to make problems, they would never accept their flaws, but always blame persons who were part of the past administration. Take it from me, ladies and gentlemen, this would not stop. And just like the 2008 National Democratic Congress, the more you try to fix problems, you are compounding problems upon you while not giving service to people of the state. And on election day, 1-5. Ask Brother Nazim Bok. Ask Brother Tillman Thomas. From 2008 to 2013, what had happened in Grenada? And maybe then you all would understand the manner in which Grenadian people think as it relates to governing the state. And when you ask for a chance and you get it, how differently we deal with you when you did not fulfill your mandate. Ask them. Because in 2013, the election results was out by at least 6:30. First Grenadians vote them out fast. As the polling station closed, we started to celebrate because we knew our full intention was to get rid of them. And I sense that coming, ladies and gentlemen, in 2025. If all that. Because in 2025 for a reason. I'm saying 2025 for a reason. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end today's session. It was my first session. I want to let people know that I will, and you can give me constructive criticism. Go on Messenger, say to me, Prince, the volume was too low, the lights was too bright, I was hearing you clearly, you had a break in, you could have read something slower. I am open to constructive criticism. right? And that's the person I am. So it was a pleasure being here with you guys. It is always a privilege to give whatever information that I can. And so just before I go, I want to ensure, as I said to you guys, normally I would be given information from different entities. And so one of which I got today is from the Royal Grenada Police Force, the traffic department. And so I would like to give you information as it relates to vehicle and vehicle maintenance, right? So the question asks, what is vehicle maintenance? Vehicle maintenance, the servicing, repairs, or maintaining of any type of motor vehicle. This includes equipments, rehabilitation, mechanical repairs, painting, fueling, and lubrication, etc. Right? Why is it, ladies and gentlemen, why is it so important? Properly maintaining your vehicle will not only ensure its safety and dependability, but may also increase fuel efficiency as well as help in maintaining your vehicle's value. It is recommended to consult your vehicle's owner's manuals and follow its preventative vehicle maintenance schedule. Road safety refers to the measures and methods aimed at reducing likelihood or the risk of people using the road getting involved in an accident or injury that may cause serious health concern, death, or property damage. A person behind the wheel plays an important role in most of the accidents that are caused. In most of the cases, accident occurs either due to carelessness or due to lack of road safety awareness of the road users. Hence, road safety education is as essential as any other basic skill of survival. And recently I heard somebody mentioned about defense driving. The Royal Grenada Police Force is saying defense driving is essential. Driving in a manner that utilizes safe driving strategies to enable motorists to address or identify hazard in any predictable manner. The strategies goes well beyond instruction on a basic traffic law and procedure. With defense driving classes, drivers will improve their driving skills by reducing their driving risk by anticipating situations and making safe, well-informed decisions. Such decisions are important. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I just wanted to inform you as it relates to this information from the Royal Grenada Police Force and as it relates to giving information as it relates to our safety. And we will always and continue to respect the laws of our state. And as such, ladies and gentlemen, this brings the end to today's session. It was a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be here with you guys. Always a pleasure. And as the saying goes, there is no place as Grenada. Let nobody else have you think otherwise. All right? Grenada is a wonderful place. We welcome persons as long as the intentions are good. We welcome you to Grenada, and we would continue to share opinions on every and anything within the state. All right? So have yourself a wonderful day, a pleasant good evening to each and every one of you, and may God be with you. I would want to end this evening by again reminding you of one of the upcoming events. So God's blessings and love always. This is Royalty James. This brings the end to our classroom. All right.
#1 event comes to Grenada as New Faith's promotion in collaboration with Hush 5.0 presents Revo Dance Invasion 473. Going down at Tip Bar and Lounge in Tempe, St. George. Upstairs, Ned's Renter on Saturday, March 11th. Music by The Bomb Squad, Fishman Jr., Graphic Sound, DJ Nazim, and DJ Kyle. And featuring live, Brooklyn's #1 female DJ, Queen D Fire. Powered by Root Sound System and hosted by Blackstorm. And look out for a special guest performance by Dash. Dash. Get your $40 tickets now. More at the door. Get your tickets from President's Bar in Montoot, Juke Shop in Saigon, White Beach, Woodland, Shies Bar, Victoria, Police Canteen, Chucky's Bar, Pamela's Bar in Grenville, Bottle Table, and hookah packages available. Dress code Army Green, a piece of green, khaki or anything. Price for the best dress, male or female. For more info, contact 414-8660 or 415-4983. This is a party with a difference. Revo Dance 473. New York.